Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome to Fantasy Forecast for Sunday, November 27th, 2016. Yesterday's score is in front of you right here. We got just on the edge of winning 50-50s, and double ups weren't close enough, like really at all. This one you needed to be at 250 and it's at 394, so I mean, it's not in the 400s or the 500s, but I mean, it certainly wasn't good enough to win. So Westbrook put up a decent amount of points, but on the second end of a back-to-back, you pay 11-8 and you only get the 55 floor. Okay for cash and move on, but a lot of the other performances that were okay there didn't make, like Conley, I expected him to do a bit better, but taking a Memphis team always just seems to hurt. It doesn't matter, and you pay 7,000 for him. I mean, he needed him to get 40s and 35. He floored. Klay Thompson basically floored with the extra opportunity, 30 off of 6,000 price. KCP was the real drag on this lineup. If he'd been able to perform and push this above to like 295, 300, I mean, a guy you expect to have a 25 floor sets a new one at 13. So Carmelo, now I did not expect him to get 68, but for him to go so down to 28 was just ridiculous. It was just pathetic. I mean, really, Melo, and it's another reason why you just... God, it reminds me of that Otto Porter performance a week ago when he put up 68. Wiggins, shot dependent, and Golden State won. And even in the fast-paced game, he didn't pick it up. Dieng did his job no problem. He paid more than 5 times value. Harris was a great value as well. And Zeller was just fine. It's the Wiggins drag and Carmelo really paying up for the Carmelo spot. I mean, even Silva and Pope, the right smack middle of this lineup is what killed it. Move on to the next day, right, guys? After the amount of wins that I had, I'm not too worried about it. I took a check out of the account for a little while ago, so I mean, I have money coming in for some Black Friday spending. Everything is just fine. Let's move on to the upcoming lineup for today. All right, now I'm going to start to run you guys a little weird here with this one because we're used to spending up at the point guard position, but we don't have any studs above 10,000 in the point guard position, which is kind of strange. It maybe because it's a Sunday slate, and I like to play the Sunday slates. I think people are still focused on football, and it's really interesting to get into these ones. So at the start, we're going to take Elfrid Payton for the point guard. Why? Because he's playing the Bucks, and it's a good position for him to put up 30 points as a floor, which is my 5 times value. And honestly, he's got upside to 40. So, I mean, it depends on the day and with the opponent with him. But if he gets on a nice scoring streak and they let him, he'll keep on scoring. I mean, if he gets 30 points, just a couple of the basic peripherals will put you way into that ceiling territory. Yeah, you're banking on Peyton getting 30 points, but I'm actually more banking on him getting 15 to 20. Now, Beverly. The point guard position today is kind of interesting. I would be spending down at the point guard position. It's just kind of a day where you want to spend down a bit if you can. I'll go into that in just a moment. But I'm taking Beverly mainly because he's got a lot of minutes now. And Portland is an okay team to be running against. I mean, the guy he's not going to give me 40 points in this position. But I'm pretty damn sure he's going to give me a solid 25 today with his minute run. And that's great because that's more than 5 times value. Let's go into the position itself. Your high-end choices, you got Lillard for against Houston and the Beard. I mean, yeah, he could do 50 or 60 today. The thing is, I think you can find that 6 times value for cheaper. I think Teague has a bad opponent in the Clippers, and Paul has a great opponent in the Pacers, but it can turn into a blowout, so I'm staying away from both. Same with Holiday. I just don't see him putting up the production that he's needed. I was saying that at 7,900, and he's getting close to the price where I'm going to be interested in playing him. When I see him around 7,000, I'm going to think he's about fairly priced. Darren Collison, I think, is a bit overpriced until we know the way the minute run is going to go there. I mean, he should take over as the primary point guard for the Kings, but until he does, I mean, it's a sweet spot against the Nets, but I'd only want him if he was playing 35, 38 minutes, and I don't know if he's going to get that. I think he's going to see 27, 28 minutes. Um, I took Peyton. I think that's solid. Frazier has. Once you start going 2 bad in a row, I'm always think of, well, there's probably going to be a 3rd bad in a row, so I'm going to stay off it now. DFS is always a what have you done for me lately kind of sport, but it really does matter in basketball because it's streaky. Schroeder could be a sneaky play against the Lakers. I like that as a tournament option, but this is why I said spend down, guys. Today's a day to spend down. Lawson possibly. I'm not excited with that prospect. I mean, because now we're getting into the 4,000 players, and unless they're getting a huge minute run, there isn't going to be much reason to take any of these guys today. Gibson is still intriguing because he's a new guy. He's still shaking out the cobwebs. Calderon is still intriguing as well, but as you guys can see from last night, he didn't even pay the 5 times value even with the minute run. And that's kind of the problem when you're the 5th man on the team that's, in terms of I'm going to take the shots or I'm going to get the ball. So he's almost like the glue just sitting in there. On to the shot guard today. We're taking Harden and we're taking Clarkson. Harden, simple, easy. Where else do you spend up on this slate? Now that Alphabet's above 10,000, I don't want to pay that, so I'm out of that. McCollum getting to the price that I really like. I think he's around a $7,000 player too because he can run you about that 33, 35 points, and it's pretty solid. And against Houston, I mean, this could be a 110-110 game. If it went to overtime, gosh, you're going to want exposure to this game. I take the beard personally, and you need to fill your other position somewhere on FanDuel, so I'm going to take Clarkson and go cheap because once you start to spend up in one spot, you really got to watch where you're spending up. So it's not like I can take Alphabet too, but I just don't like him for a 50 spot today. I mean, maybe, I think it's more like 45 and 55 at tops, and it's just that he's just a solid rangy, and yeah, you could say, well, that's perfect. That's what you want for a cash player. I don't think so today. I think today it's because the slate's right around that sweet spot of like 5-6 games that you're gonna really want to have a Harden when there's not so many plus 10,000 options. I mean, go ahead, guys. You can Davis down farther if you think he's just too against Dallas, and it turns into a blowout there, and they let Davis sit, or Davis gets injured again because we all know he's made of glass. I mean, well, then by all means sub out Clarkson and go with Alphabet. Anyways, though, I would be looking to Clarkson today. Kilpatrick as well down here, if you're looking at some other guys. Fournier even, possibly, but I think Fournier's more of like, solid minutes, and he's going to give you like 25 points today. I don't know if I just don't see him giving you 35. Kilpatrick could give you 35 just as a surpriser there at 5,100. If anyone you guys can play him, wonderful. And I might have done so instead of Clarkson, except they're literally the $100 made a difference in this case. So I had Clarkson today, and even though it's against an Atlanta opponent, Lou Williams is just not really performing the way anyone's expected to, and Clarkson just is picking up the bulk of the minutes with the injuries that are running through. D'Angelo Russell being out, and Nick Young is probably going to come back today, which is going to take away some of that Laker value. But Luke Walton's seen anything. I think we're going to see Clarkson for another 35 minutes today, which is great at 5,000. I mean, he'll be asked to do a lot of scoring load. Ingram is my other choice here today. At your $3,800 level at small forward, which is where I was kind of stuck. This is actually the last position I chose, and because I've gone through, I haven't hit these positions yet. Paul George is out, so that you need Glenn Robinson, guys. He's going to anchor cash lineups today across the board, probably GPPs too. If you don't have Glenn Robinson in your lineup, get him in. There's your value pick of the day. We got Rudy Gay, Harrison Barnes. Both are tournament options along with Ariza because there isn't a lot in this category, and any one of them can do okay. Portland, like I was talking about, the game could go to overtime and be a faster paced game. Sacramento could blow the Nets out, but the Nets could stay competitive, and Gay could just get 35 points. Harrison Barnes shows flashes of brilliance. It's just, you never know. Bazemore against the Lakers. Like I said, you can beat up against the Lakers too, but then there's the whole thing of you're taking Bazemore. So, Bogdo against Sacro, that could be a sneaky play. along with Cephalosha. But then, there was nothing incredibly intriguing, so I wanted to go down a bit, and Ingram looks just fine with his minute run lately. It seems like, even though he's behind, you can pull it up. He'll even talk about it in his thing. Russell out, Randall's probably out, Nick Young is probably going to be in, but who basically is going to suffer from that is the question. And Nick Young was in 2 games ago against Golden State before he came out for the last one. And look, Ingram still ran his 34-minute run, and that was not an overtime game by any means, guys. That was a 149 game, and I think Ingram might have been pulled, but Luke Walton said, you know what, go ahead and play in the blowout because they wanted to give him some experience and time. And look at what he did with it in the next game against Golden State on a back-to-back. And fantasy-wise, that's a great performance at 3,800, 3,700. So I'm willing to take that again today, guys, and just solidify my position here. Now, on DraftKings, he's a bit more expensive. I don't know if I'd go this direction, but I'll get to that in a moment. All right, at power forward, you got the Brow. Guys, it's the Brow. You're not going to get any more upside than him, and as long as he doesn't get injured, you're looking at a solid 50 points on a really tough slate. Griffin is wonderful, but he can blow out they can blow the Pacers out. He can only see 3/4 of play, and you're really going to pray that he puts up 45 fantasy points during that 3/4 to get that blowout. Granted, it probably will be him, but it's just too much risk for me in a cash game. Same with Parker. He's just way too scoring dependent. He's like Wiggins from last night. Randall, I don't think he's coming back in. They say game time decision and all these things, but I think it's more of a doubtful. Ibaka could be a sneaky play against the Bucks. I like him GPP. Booker is just solid. They're starting to increase the price and realize. I like Booker today if you want to spend down. I don't like Thad Young against the Clips today. T. Jones has been pretty hot, and he's going to have a Dallas opponent, so he could pick up again. That could be a nice game for him to get 30. I like Nance today only if what's his face, Nick Young is out, and I don't think he's going to be. I think he's probable to play, which is going to kill the value for Robinson there, and pretty much anyone really cheap inside the power forward position. I spent up in the power forward. I'm going to take your main guy against the Lakers and hope he drops a 50 spot, but really know that he's going to solid for like a good 38 points today. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. That's scores. That's upcoming. Okay, I'm pretty sure he's solid for a good 40 points. And that's about it for the power forward. Let's get into the center position. Cousins is your spend up. If you want to drop anywhere else too, besides Alphabet, why not look at Cousins against the Nets? It's less it's got blowout risk too, but not as much as Atlanta Lakers, not as much as the Clippers against the Pacers. That's probably got the most blowout risk today. I would definitely be looking at Cousins today if you're going to have the money to spend up. There's no question there. Brook Lopez is an interesting spot against Sacramento. When you oppose Boogie, Boogie likes to score, but Boogie doesn't seem to get back and try to steal the ball. So that's an interesting one, especially at 71. Vucevic, you guys all saw what he did yesterday. The day before, he was on fire. So he's definitely in play again today. The NBA is streaky. Vucevic is in play. Cousins, then I'd be looking at Vucevic, and then Miles Turner and Capela. Both look, great to me today. I'm taking Capela because I think it's a sneaky play and that a lot of people aren't going to have him, but he's solid for his floor of 29 points, especially on that Portland team. So I'm looking for solid floors here. And if you're going to spend down, the Plum Dog, not so sure on that today. And then you're at Monroe, who's not getting time. Bogut's interesting at 4,400. And Kophos at really cheap. Even backing up Boogie can pick up fouls, and Kophos will end up seeing extra time if that happens. That's always a consideration in any game with Boogie. So looking at Kophos that cheap is, if you need to punt the center position, that's probably where I go today. All right, that's that. We'll go back in, and for your 2-minute review now. This is your recommended cash game lineup for FanDuel. We are taking Peyton and Beverly at the point guard positions. We're taking Harden and Clarkson at the shot guard positions. We're taking Ingram and Robinson at the small forward position. We're taking Davis and Millsap at the power forward position. And we're taking Capela for our center today. And we're going over to DraftKings. Remember, this has to be cash. Yesterday's score on this was like a 265 or something like that. I don't even know if it was enough to hit, but I mean, it was close, just like the others. So, Patrick Beverly at your point guard position, who's cheaper than he is on FanDuel. Harden, who's just, I think, solid for your 60 points more on... the scoring here is different. I have to adjust to that. Matt Barnes, that's playing to the 3 points there. You can sub Matt Barnes, by the way, on DraftKings if you want to, for my man, sorry, where is he? You can sub him for my man Bobby Ingram, who's getting a nice minute run as well. There's no problem with that. Take your pick, Matt Barnes or Bobby Ingram. Power forward is Millsap, who's cheaper here. Vucevic, who's like a crime here. He's so cheap it's unreal. Vucevic for your center. Collison for your guard position, Booker at your forward position, and Harrison Barnes against New Orleans today at 5,800, coming in at a bargain. And that is your recommended DraftKings lineup. Back over to FanDuel real fast because that's how we close out the videos. Okay, and like I said, you'll be taking this lineup inside of 50-50s, single entries, and double up single entry games as your best chances of winning today. Thank you guys so much for watching Fantasy Forecast. I really appreciate all of your time. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It's what keeps this free channel going. I sent out free lineups this morning on Twitter to anyone that wanted them for the NFL today and for the all-day slate. If you don't follow me on Twitter, the link's in the description. Go ahead and click there and follow me, and I'll send out tweets like that. I send last-minute lineup changes. You can always follow there if you need them. Other than that, though, please just subscribe and watch an ad occasionally. That's how I keep this show going for you guys. Thanks again so much for watching Fantasy Forecast on this beautiful Sunday. One more time, Peyton and Beverly at the point guard, Harden and Clarkson at the shot guard, Ingram and Robinson at the small forward, Davis and Millsap at the power forward, and Capela for your center. Go on out there and go win some big money today, guys.